Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show, Week 11. I'm along with the real Brad Smith. I'm the Fantasy Clown. We're going to recap all the happenings in Clownhead community over the last week, and specifically Week 11. Brad, you were telling me right before the show that this was your best week of the year.
Yeah, I had a really good week.
I actually had kind of one of my worst weeks, and we must draft different players or something like that. But, I felt like while I didn't really lose ground in leagues, I didn't win at the rate that I had won in the past. And I guess I was really confused with a lot of the outcomes of the games in my pick'em. I just did maybe one of the poorest that I've done so far. So, only had about 6 wins. So I was really not picking the winners very well this week. And, so I'm excited to get back at it this, week 12 and really get ready for a stretch run. In most of our leagues, we have 3 more weeks of regular season, 2 big bye weeks. So we're heading into that big bye week this week as well. As we usually do, we'll get started with DraftKings. And here I got 4th place, so with 107.60. So even there, I didn't really do well, but the top score was W. O'Brien, 93, and he went with Bo Nix, Kareem Hunt, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jauan Jennings, Amon-Ra St. Brown, MVS, Dawson Knox, Calvin Ridley, and the Titans. And then JDM Clown, 1989, Justin, came in second, and he had Russ Wilson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devin Achane, Jauan Jennings, George Pickens, Jerry Jeudy, Wright from the Lions, and then Cortland Sutton and the Browns. And so you can see Jauan Jennings and Gibbs are kind of, in both of their lineups. And, I guess I'm anxious to hear, Brad, what you think of Jennings. He seems to have passed Debo in the pecking order there in San Francisco, don't you think?
I mean, he could have, but they're not winning, so something's probably going to change.
Yeah, and that's true. And actually, I have a trade with Trader Dan in a redraft league. He offered me Debo Samuel for Javonte Williams this week. He needs a running back real bad, and so I accepted that trade. I'm pretty excited to be welcoming Debo as part of my receiver core in a redraft. It felt like a right move for me. I was debating what I was going to do with Javonte this week anyway, if I was going to start him or not. So adding Debo kind of makes that a little bit easier. I feel a lot better putting Debo in my flex, I think. So for me, it felt good. Even though I have CMC in that league, and so, a lot of times I don't like to have the running back and the receivers, but, it is what it is. We just, go get it. And Brock Purdy on that team as well, so I just load up on the 49ers, and I'll go as their offense goes. But taking a peek at our survivor pool, we're down to 6. So 48 down to 6. So one person, Steaky, lost this week, took the 49ers. And were you surprised by that upset, the Seattle Seahawks beating the 49ers?
Yeah, I'm upset about it.
Were you excited about the 49ers, or what made you upset?
Yeah, I thought the 49ers were gonna be good again, but Kittle being out was a big issue for them, I think.
I agree, but I think that the run starts now. I think we're going to find that it kind of begins now. I'm not, thinking that they're going by the wayside. 2 people took the Lions and went through. 2 people took the Dolphins and went through. 1 took the Vikings. 1 took the Rams. So that's where our 6 left are, using up those spots. So I'll be anxious to see how they go this direction. I decided to wear the T-shirt for the Ravens in the Hardball Bowl that's coming up this weekend. Do you think that the Ravens win, or do you think that the Chargers win when the 2 Hardball brothers play each other?
I gotta think the Ravens will take that one.
That's what I thought too. So, I thought I'd wear the Ravens and just to kind of celebrate that. Taking a peek at at our redraft leagues, we did allude to some of the redrafts we play in, but best ball 2 or head to head in the A division, Malahame's 313.11. Looks like she was in that top spot back in week 3, week 4, and now week 11. There I'm coming on. I'm 5-6 after 11 games. Do you think I have a chance there if I keep winning to get in the playoffs?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of debating. Oh, actually, no, I had mistaken that. Actually, that is the one I'm out on. I'm actually 1-10 or something stupid there. That's the one that I'm out on. It's redraft 1 that I was thinking of that I was 5-6. So yeah, Malahame's takes care of business, and I'm just kind of picking up guys and putting them down. I don't have anything going on in that league for sure. Best ball head-to-head B, Bauman 0-11, 355.42, big score there. And taking a peek at what he has, he was the top scorer back in week 3 and week 6, and it looks like, and then week 11. So a couple time top scorer there. In this one, actually, I believe I'm 7-4 or something like that. Kind of have a decent record in best ball head-to-head B league. So actually, doing pretty well there, hoping to make the playoffs and make a run. And this is a tough format for me. So I don't know if you've ever played in those best ball kind of leagues where you do trades and waiver pickups, but I feel like I don't have the same pacing on them as I do the other teams, that because I'm not setting a lineup, I'm not going through and kind of seeing who I'm playing against each other. I have a very, I usually look at my competitors and see what they have, what they're doing, and, where I have to be strong. And they're just kind of don't have the right pacing for me. So anyway, I don't know. Redraft 1, Kamish, 284.22. And looks like week 2 and then back again in week 11. This is a league I'm 5-6. What do you think? I was the champion last year in this format. Do you think 5-6 will get me there into the playoffs?
You'll have to go on a little run.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. I always like to get to 8 wins. So, I really feel like I can't lose the rest of the way, but going to be tough. I tried out pretty crazy quarterbacks in this league. So it's not very good. Then redraft 3, JSL 111, 328.53. Taking a peek there. This is his first time in the top spot. Here I'm also 5-6. And what's kind of ironic is I started out 0-6. So we're going to see if I can keep winning. I mean, 5 in a row and hoping to keep that winning going. And this is a 1 quarterback, 2 superflex league. So a little bit challenging when you're plopping guys like Jerry Jeudy, who I have on that team in my superflex. But last week Jerry Jeudy in the superflex wasn't bad, so that worked out. So that's kind of the redrafts there, and we're excited for future redrafts a little bit, and maybe adding a couple redrafts to our situation. Taking a peek at all of our dynasty leagues. We'll go through dynasty Clownhead 1 through 10 first, and before we get into the big tournaments. But Clownhead 1, Jay Batista 10, 351.21, a real strong score. And Jay Batista, back in week 2, was the top scorer as well. And he's the top scorer overall. So, Brad, if you would get ready to pull that up, we'll take a look at his team when we get done with these next couple. Clownhead 2, Head Smacker, 286.98. That looks like, in the top spot for the first time this week. Clownhead 3, Deadeye Owl, 297.08. We really thought he had a real strong team at the beginning. Week 2 was the top scorer. Week 5 was the top scorer. And then 10 and 11. So just starting to come on strong there. Clownhead 4, Jason Henson, 38 with a 278.90. Jason Henson back in week 2 and top scorer overall in week 5. And now back in week 11 as well. And then Clownhead 5, the fantasy clown, me, 279 even. And, I always thought I had a pretty good team here, but looks like I've been kind of on a run. Week 9, week 10, week 11, I've been the top scorer in this particular league. So just kind of hitting my stride. Let's take a peek at Jay Batista. He was 70 points higher than me, though. So, I mean, with the same scoring format, that's a real strong score.
Yeah, it looks like his team's pretty solid. Nix and Richardson both had good weeks, so that's a great start. And then Puka had a good week. McConkey had a good week. JSN was solid. Brock Bowers had a great week. And then he's got Lamb and Joku. He had Harrison on bye last week, but he's got him coming back. Looks like he probably had Waddle in that spot last week. So
yeah, it looks like the team is even prefaced to, for the future too. I really think that, that's looking to come on strong with Rashee Rice. I see.
And Pacheco coming back. DeVito, he's got as another starter now.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple of firsts for next year too.
Well, definitely poised to go get it for sure. Taking a look at Clownhead 6, Hot Sauce Wally, was our top scorer there. And just looking back, looks like week 10, week 11 in that top spot. Clownhead 7, Psalm 3303, a 390.87. That barking on 400-point store, really felt like a really strong number. I think that might be the biggest number that I've seen in this format. I mean, I was like just thinking when I was writing it down, geez, 400. If you put up a 400 burger, somebody else 150 puts up, and they're trying to, they just get like pummeled, with that number 390. So just a strong, definitely a strong thing. Looking back, the whole way back to week 2, before he was the top scorer there in week Clownhead 7. Clownhead 8, Redneck 88, 314.71. And looking back, Redneck has just been strong. Week 1, week 2, the highest score. And then in week 8, the highest score. And then week 9 and week 11, just the top scorer here in Clownhead 8. So just banging it out in Clownhead 8, Redneck 88 with a strong score again. Clownhead 9, Kodiak Snack 324.52. Another strong score there. And looking back at Kodiak, it looks like back in week 6, had that top score, and now week 11. And then Clownhead 10, Thunderfist, 276.77. I mean, can you imagine putting up a 276.77 and getting beat by 390? I mean, that's another 120, like if you were playing against him in a head. I mean, that just would be crazy. That was the first time for Thunder. So let's look at Psalm's team. What's Psalm's team look like there?
I mean, this team is good. Having Goff, McCaffrey, Puka, Lamb, Bowers, Kyron, Mixon, Jonnu, J.K. Dobbins, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Stevenson. He's got Carr on the bench, Cousins on the bench, Bateman on the bench, Jacoby Myers on the bench. I mean, this team is good.
And kind of amazing, it hasn't really been the top scorer. And, he with that team, he hasn't been our top overall scorer. And he's only even led that division one time. So, I mean, just kind of interesting to me that a team like that just throws out a 390 burger. Was Taysom on that team? Or
no.
Okay. I mean, I kind of like, felt like it almost had to be a Taysom experience or something.
He just had a lot of injuries throughout the year. Guys like A.J. Brown, Puka being hurt. Now he's finally getting them all healthy.
Gotcha. I guess let's look ahead at our 96-team league. Our first one is the Elite 8. We're getting closer and closer, 3 weeks to go until we have our Sweet 16 tournament and the race to $3,000. And so Division A, David R. 1, 289.48. Taking a peek back, it looks like David R. hits that top spot for the first time this year. Division B, the Mike Smith 11, 310.76. He just took over the team right before the season. So exciting to see Mike hit that top spot here. Division C, Commish, 297.08. Looks like Commish is just kind of popping on for the first time this year in that top spot. So that's, coming on strong there. Division D, T Tanner 7, 378.32. I don't know why 378 doesn't seem near as much as 390, but, very close and another great score there. But, taking a peek at T Tanner here, looks like he's been the top scorer, though, a couple times, going back to week 8, week 9, and now again in week 11. So coming on strong. Division E, D Hart, 289.43. D Hart's been the top scorer week 2, week 3, and then back again in week 8 overall, and now week 11. So a couple times been in that top spot, getting ready for the playoffs. Division F, Achilles the Hub, 373.69. So another strong scorer there in Division F. And Achilles the Hub, was our top scorer overall back in week 2, but hasn't been back in the top spot since then. Division G, the Dutch Dynasty, 340.66, just consistent every week. The Dutch Dynasty coming on strong. Week 2, week 3 overall, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8, and then week 10 and week 11. So just every week, just comes through with big scores. And then Division H, M. Ralston, 10-13 with a 297.73. And just taking a peek at where he came in, I think that's the first time in that top spot. So he was one of our final 4 people, our first year, and now back in the top spot again here. Let's take a peek at T Tanner in Division D.
I mean, this team had a great week, I think. Bo Nix, Russell Wilson, Saquon and Mixon, Cooper Kupp and Puka in the lineup, both having good weeks. Hawkinson, Najee, and then he had Cousins on the bench, and he does have Taysom, so he probably had him in last week, got that big score. He's got Higgins on the bench, Mostert on the bench. I mean, the team's pretty solid.
Well, and taking a peek here as I look at the standings, and I'll try to put these, in the, attach them to the video as well, so that everybody can take a look at where we are after 11 weeks. But we've got Deadeye Al with a 9-2 record in Division A, Psalm 3303 with an 8-3 in A, and then we got a bunch of teams that are within 2 games of that. David R 7-4, Andy Tomberlin 7-4. And then the FF Prez, Hurricane Zion, and Mr. Mojo Rising, all 6-5. So just trying to get in there. In Division B, Kodiak Snacks, 9-2, El Diaz, 9-2. And then we've got Steelers Nation 66, 8-3. And a couple teams at 7-4, Poppy 54 and Fat Black with a 7-4 record. When we look at Division C, we've got the Draft Guru and Team Potson, 8-3. And then a couple teams right behind is 7-4, LL Brad 9210, Team Commish, Jason Paro, all at 7-4, and then the Cameron Kentucky Bengal 6-5. Looking at Division D, T Tanner 7 at 8-3, and Grizz Funk Shit at 8-3 as well. And then we look at Jake Peterson knocking on the door 8-3, and then Oscillations and Jack Powers 7-4 and 6-5 respectively. Look at Division E. We got D Hart 9-2, JSL 111 8-3, and then outside looking in, Mirrorless 6 8-3, M Stu 17 8-3. So a lot there looking for that second spot, and then we've got Rusty 30 at 7-4, and a couple teams at 6-5 really have to jump some things. To Double Tap and Danny Nichols, and then we're looking at Division F. We have River AD 10-1, Slick the Ruler 10-1, and so those are getting to the top of the bracket for sure. 29-33 and 26-28. So they're gonna really get their way near the top of the bracket. Achilles the Hub 8-3, so it has to make up a lot of ground with 3 to play. Back to the Dutch Dynasty 11-0, one of our 11-0 teams, and Top Flight Hooker 9-2. And then we've got a couple in Division G that are 2 games behind top flight. The Pac Fans 7-4 and SX Boys 21 7-4. And then looking at Division H, another 11-0 team with the Riverbed PT 7, and then also Cowboys and Utes 10-1, so real strong there. And he was the winner year 1, getting in there. And then we have M. Ralston at 8-3, just kind of 2 games back, really have to make a run here. So that's kind of the lay of the land after week 11. I was kind of amazed that not much changed from week 10. I mean, there was 2, I think, move-ins to the top 2 spots, but everybody else just kind of maneuvering around. And so next week, we're going to be 2 games away, with 2 to play. You definitely have to, really make those jumps. If you're 2 games back this week, it's time to make those jumps. Taking a peek at the Big 8, it's going to run the same way as the Elite 8. So we're 3 games away from that finals as well. This is year number 2. We've got in Division S, Z-Flu Senior 289.43. Looking back, looks like Z-Flu back in week 2. So that must have been a week that had the same kind of people doing well. I feel like that's been the same kind of thing. Division T, the Heesh 299.48. Looking back, the Heesh, this is the first time in that top spot in Division T. Division U, J Yates 11, 298.27. Looking back, we had J Yates 11 in week 3, the top scorer overall. Week 4 was the top scorer, and then now in week 11 as well. Division V, Hot Sauce Wally 300.31. Looking back a couple of weeks, looks like this is the first time in the top spot for Hot Sauce Wally. Division W, Jack Powers 293.74. Looks like back in week 7. That's an oddity. I don't think I've mentioned week 7 too much tonight with repeat folks getting in that top spot. Division X, our top scorer overall, Dirty Sanch 3Z92, 306.72. So a lot less scoring here if you compare it to a 390 in the same format over there in Clownhead 7. And Dirty Sanch looks like the first time in that top spot. And then Division Y, King Khan 34, 292.27. And looks like he's been in this spot a couple times, going back to week 7, week 8, and then week 11. And then Division Z, Nikki 1187, 286.73. And this is the first time in the top spot. No, I'm sorry, back at week 2 was in that top spot as well. Let's take a look at Dirty Sanch's team here and see what this is in your division, right, Brad?
Yep. I had the second highest score in this league this week. But the team's solid. Herbert, Chase Brown, Garrett Wilson, Ramondre, Puka, Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill, George Pickens. And he's got Stafford and Goff to round out his QBs. Looks like he has Judy as well. Mechie coming on.
I feel like he's going to be a team that's going to be, while he's not in the top 2 spots or battling for those top 2 spots, I could see him coming out of one of the top 6 for the divisional championship, just coming on strong at this kind of a time. So one to look out for sure. Looking at how things stack up for the final 16 spots in the big tournament. Division S, we have Wandata 21 with 11-0 record. So, an undefeated season there. The only one we have in this format. And then David's Wish 10, new to that top 2 spot this week, 8-3. And then Luigi Williams 9, also 8-3. And then a couple teams back at 6-5. So a couple games back. Team Podson, Steelers Nation 66, kind of on the outside looking in. In Division T, our champion last year, Captain Curl, with a 10-1 record. So going to get that number 2 seed, at this point. We're on pace for that. Sean Lindy, 8-3. And then we also have Noisy Silence, 7-4. E. Tomazik, 6-5. MB Gut, 6-5. Turkleton, 6-5. Buick 6-5, and the Heesh 6-5. So a lot of teams 2 games back there, looking to make their move here. Division U, we have D Hart at 9-2 in that top spot. Jay Mule in the top spot, in the top 2 there, 9-2 as well. Jay Yates 11, 8-3. The Draft Guru 7-4, 2 games back. So D Hart is the only person in both in the top spot in both of the big leagues. So just kind of a shout out to him there. In Division V, Danny Nichols 9-2, Benny Trees 9-2, and then we look over on the outside looking in. SB Sherman 8-3, Pritchard 0-3, 7-4, kind of looking to make their move here. In Division W, Philip Rupert 9-2, David R 8-3, and then Georgetown Baseball 22 8-3, Jack Powers, Wolfpack, River AD, Justin Canover, all 7-4 and 6-5 respectively. So a couple games behind, on the outside looking in. Looking at Division X, JSL 111, 9-2, Felix DeCat, 9-2 as well. And then you are right behind it at 7-4, 2 games back, the real Brad Smith. So you have some games we kind of checked out right before, we talked about a little bit that you're going to play both of those top 2 teams. So you sort of control your own destiny here, even though you're 2 games back with 3 to go. So good luck. The Slippy Nanner in Division Y, 9-2, King Khan 34, 9-2. And then we have CY Yates 87, 8-3, and Kerwin 17, 8-3. The Commish 7-4. And then looking in Division Z where I play, Mr. Shy Guy 8-3, Pants Pooper 8-3, and then we've got Marshall Gore 7-4, GJS 256 7-4, and Mario 19 6-5, 2 games back. That's kind of a rundown. I did take a screenshot of that, and I'll put that in there so we can kind of see the Week 11 standings, Week 10 standings, Week 11 standings, kind of how they're moving around. And how confident do you feel, Brad? Do you feel like you have a team to get into the top 2 here? Do you feel like you?
I think so. I'm starting to get excited. Honestly, yeah. I think I have a shot.
And I think when we talked back in the preseason, you didn't think you really had a reasonable shot, right? I mean, you didn't feel like the team was.
No, because I was projected to be in the top 2 in the preseason in this league, and I didn't think my team was as good as it was projected me.
and kind of looking here, that's sort of an interesting thing. Looking kind of back at that, and we'll get more involved in that as we set up the playoffs. But it looks like you were number 2, but Titan Chaps was number 1, and we don't really see anything of Titan Chaps. Or did they change their name?
No, he's number 10. He's 10th right now.
So that just shows how the computer doesn't know too much sometimes. When they run the simulations. So I guess that's a good lesson. Well, good luck. Week 11 in the books. We're looking at week 12. I'm excited for next week. We'll probably record just before the holiday, and then we'll get to watch some football, right around the holiday. So for now, he's the real Brad Smith. I'm the Fantasy Clown. We'll see you next week.